These are the whiskies I'm hunting right now that I really, really want to try. I've heard fantastic things about these whiskies, so if that interests you, hit like, hit subscribe, and make yourself comfy. And I'm Phil, and I'm going to fill you in about these whiskies that I want to buy, but now I'm telling you, and maybe I won't be able to buy them. Yeah, I should have thought about this topic before I made this video. Let's jump in. So in the last video I did about hunting sort of whiskies, you know, which whiskies I really wanted. This was 2 years ago. The 5 whiskies I really wanted to try and buy. And I found it. So I went to go get it and it just disappeared after I released that video. I don't know if it was related to my video, but it was, yeah, I couldn't get it. But I do have some now. So if you watch the end of the video, I'll tell you about, was it worth it buying that whiskey? Is it actually that good? Was it worth the hype? But let's jump into what I'm hunting now. So this first whiskey is probably one I should have picked up a long time ago. This one was actually, I think, G Whiskey's Whiskey of the Year a couple of years ago. A lot of you on Discord, on Instagram have messaged me saying how good this whiskey is. But yeah, I ended up grabbing the 12-year-old Glen Glassaugh. It's kind of that great sort of one, I can pour an enthusiast and a beginner at the same time. I used to use the Balvenie 12 back in the day, or the Dalwhinnie 15, and I feel like this just has that sort of refined complexity, but it won't punch you in the face, and it works well. But the one I want to try more than this, and actually the one I wanted more than this, was the Glen Glassaugh Sandend. And I've had this a few times at some bars and stuff, and every time I'm like, this is a good dram, this is great, I should get a bottle of it. It's primarily from ex-bourbon casks. It's 50.5% ABV. I think they always do a mix. I feel like that's what they do at Glen Glassaugh. There's always this kind of 3 cask kind of thing, but with the port soy being more in that rich and spiced kind of side, and the Sandend being that more light, fruity and floral kind of side. But yeah, that's the first one on my list. I want to buy it. Have you tried it? Is it good? Should I just not buy it? Is it actually just terrible and just tastes like, I don't know, swamp donkeys in a river? Or that's weird. Swamp donkeys in a river? But this next whiskey has been making massive waves, and probably the whiskey that I feel the most FOMO about right now. It is from Scotland. It is from the Glasgow Distillery, and I actually was given some drams of this when I was over in London and we were doing an interview with Charlie McLean, and Ben was there. He helped me shoot the interview and stuff. Shout out to you, Ben. I'll put his Instagram down below. Great dude. And he was like, what do you want to try? And I was like, well, this distillery, for some reason in New Zealand, we just haven't had access to it yet. I don't know why. Everywhere else seems to be able to get this, but we haven't got it yet. So I don't know if someone watching this is a distributor in New Zealand. Can you go talk to these people and just get some whiskey here in the country and stuff? But the distillery is the Glasgow Distillery. So yeah, it's made waves. It made waves at this year's online Scotch Whisky Awards, which is a big kind of ceremony where a bunch of whiskey enthusiasts get together and we vote for our favourites. And this distillery did very well. Lots of people talking about it. It is the Glasgow 1770 peated version. Recently, one of my preferences has been either very, very spirit forward, light and fruity, probably similar to the Sandend we just talked about. You know, I'm talking about your Glencairn 10s, your Lindors, your whiskies like that. But at the same time, I really like the other extreme. So where it's definitely not spirit forward, because they're heavy sherry casks and very smoky. And I think that's where this fits in. You know, it's similar to the Kilkerran Sinag, as you know, Sinag gang, shout out to you guys. And you know, the Ardbeg Ugadal. On my flavour map that a lot of you guys have loved, this is in that top right corner where it's very sherried and very smoky whiskies. But this next whiskey is the best kind of world whiskey outside of Scotland you can buy. And other people say actually it's their favourite whiskey overall. Better than pretty much any Scotch whiskey you can buy. So you can see why I want to buy this next one. So this whiskey did very well in the online Scotch Whisky Awards as well. I think competition's good. I really want world whiskey to be as good as possible. So I want to talk about the best of the best. And this one, by a vote, is nominated the best of the best. So if you guys know the channel Jeff Whiskey, him and Vin from No Nonsense Whiskey set up this English Whiskey Awards. So you have the online Scotch Whisky Awards, So this was the English awards. As you know, I'm a big fan of English whiskey. I did that video with Cotswolds. I'm a huge fan of Cotswolds. The one that beat Cotswolds at the English awards was from this distillery. It was Wireworks. So people going nuts about Wireworks. It's actually one of the whiskeys I actually haven't had, just based on how many people that I really trust their palates and that kind of thing. I was like, look, I'll put it on the map. I'll put it on the map. And for the world whiskies on the map, I've made them blue. And this one's kind of on the left side now. It's not like super heavily peated. It's kind of in that lightly peated zone. And this won it, and it's just gone nuts. It even got into the online Scotch Whisky Awards in the World Whisky section, and I just really want to try this whiskey. Can't quite get it in New Zealand yet. Again, I don't know who's in charge of like getting whiskies here. Just get them here, send them here. One of you send it to me. That'd be great. So before I get to my number one hunted whiskey that I really, really want to try, I do have a special mention, and this wasn't supposed to be on the list, but just recently I got sent a small dram of it, and I was like, what? Why is it this good? So someone was over in the UK for one of the big whiskey festivals over there, and they brought me back a sample from the Heart Cut, the whiskey that I got brought back. So in the last kind of year, I did that video on kind of bourbon and rye and stuff. I think I've started to get a taste for rye more and more. There's something about the spice part of it, probably even more so than bourbon. Some just taste really unique, and I don't know, have this just really good spice element, and then some taste like paint. And I don't want to drink paint. I mean, you can drink paint. This one does not taste like paint. And what's cool about it is it's not actually from the US. It's actually from England again. It's from Feldon, and it's in this like little sample. Number 16 from the Heart Cut. And I had this, and when I tried it, like a lot of you, I think I posted on my Instagram, and a lot of you like DM'd me and were like, yeah, this is really great. Like, this is one of the most underrated ryes. This is the problem, is I can't actually, it's kind of a bit of a tease really, because I can't have more of it. It is really delicious. It has that kind of malty breakfast kind of note mixed with some of those kind of sweet spices. Yeah, great stuff. Special mention. I want more. I just need a bottle of it, but can't get it. Now actually onto the number one whiskey that I am hunting right now. Okay, so this next whiskey, yeah, it's got a lot of attention on like my Discord. A lot of like whiskey enthusiasts have been talking about it. Dramface, who write like articles about whiskeys and stuff, gave this an impressive review, and it is also a world whiskey. It is not from Scotland, not from England this time, not even from the US. It is from a place a lot of you are actually from. I know a lot of you who watch the channel are from here. It's from France. And so I've got this little sample. It is from the Amérique. So it's from France, and this is only a 3-year-old. Just a little shout out for putting the age statement, even when it's only 3 years old, on it. Because I think most distilleries would go, oh, let's just not put the age statement on. But that's not the whiskey I want to talk about. But the whiskey I actually want to talk about is the fact they've now released a 15-year-old, which is kind of wild, because I feel like it feels like a lot of the world whiskies is sort of like a recent thing, almost like a post-pandemic kind of thing. It feels like the big wave of world whiskies come out. But every so often you find a distillery that actually has been making it for a decent amount of time, and they've released a 15-year-old. So people go nuts over this. And that's what I want to champion. Like, if there's a world whiskey distillery that's making great whiskey, I mean, I want to talk about it. It doesn't need to be just bourbon, it doesn't need to be just Scotch. Like, if they're actually making genuinely good liquid. And there's a lot of Scotch whiskies I don't like. It's on the 3-year-old, which is not the 15-year-old. Very creamy, nice, approachable. That is crazy. I don't know how that's a 3-year-old. That is like easy. But anyway, at the start of this video, I talked about one of the whiskies I was hunting that I really wanted to try, and now I have it. So let's talk about that. So the last time I made this video, I talked about 5 whiskies that I was hunting that I really wanted to try. And I couldn't get this. Yeah, and everyone just talked about how amazing it was and it was the best whiskey ever and stuff. But I did get a bottle, and it is the Kilkerran 8 Sherry Cask Matured. So what do I think about it? I think it's fantastic. So when you want something that is that funk, that weird, there's always like this thing I get in Kilkerran, Springbanks, even some Benromix. It's almost like this sort of pickled fruit element. It's almost like you dipped fruit in like garlic and onion and you're eating it in like a barnyard. Yeah, with that sort of industrial like varnish and a little bit of burnt match, a little bit of smoke there. Really great whiskey. So this is the sherry cask one. Oh, it's delicious. So do I think it was worth the hunt? I think it was. And actually you can see by the time we've talked about it on this channel, it's been smashed. Real punchy, 57.4%. I will say there's one a little bit under the radar that surprisingly, it's like on shelves now. I think since whiskey is kind of having this, a lot of the investors and cask investors and all those sort of people are kind of like pulling out of like cask trading and stuff. So it does feel like we can start to find some of those like Campbelltown whiskies a few years ago we couldn't normally find. And they actually do a bourbon cask version, which I think I might prefer. Hot take. Lemon tart. White fruit. It's like biscuity notes. It's got this kind of jammy marmalade sort of part to it. Yeah, fantastic whiskey, but I'm keen to hear from you. What are the whiskies that you're hunting right now that you really want to try? What are the ones that you've heard people talk about, maybe even myself, that you're like, I've heard you talk about that, or your mate or whatever, and you haven't been able to try it. It's high up on your list, your Christmas list or whatever. Write a comment down below. And thanks to my patrons for making this video possible. But above all, make sure you explore whiskey. Go exploring and share and enjoy. Beauty.